Megaherzzz. You're listening to Megaherzzz on 4ZZZ.
You're listening to Megaherzzz on 4ZZZ, 102.1 FM, the best radio station in the whole entire world. And you're with Sisi on Megaherzzz. This show, I'm going to call it the Hangover Special today because I know I'm hungover. Maybe not. Actually, yeah, probably for the same reason as you guys. I didn't go to the NRL last night, but if you did, I hope you enjoyed it. But I am hungover regardless because I went to a wonderful show by Sacred Hearts. They played at the Triffid this last weekend, and we're just going to have a cruisy one today. Actually, it's not all going to be cruisy music. It's going to be some in-your-face stuff as well. But before I get on with the rest of the show, I would like to acknowledge that we are broadcasting from the stolen lands of the Turrabul and Jaggera people. Sovereignty over this land was never ceded, always was, always will be Aboriginal land, and we here at Megaherzzz stand in solidarity in fight for justice on this land. We have reached the point in the show where, least favourite part of the show, terrible, but we have made a commitment here on 4ZZZ that, on Megaherzzz, that we are going to we're going to broadcast the documentation that Sherele Moody's Femicide Watch does on femicide in Australia. And unfortunately, we've had something to report on every week this year. But if you need to, practice self-care and tune out for the next 3 minutes, please do so. It's really, really intense and horrific news, and please look after yourself. So 2 women have died this week. 2 women have been murdered this week in Australia. One of them is called Carolyn Campbell. She was all good things, an amazing mum, a loving partner, midwife who dedicated her life to making sure mums and bubs were safe before, during and after birth. She was a fiercely loyal friend, an adventurous soul, deeply compassionate, funny, intelligent, strong and generous. Carolyn Campbell's life matters. I'm not going to talk about the details of her death because that's just one moment in what was a wonderful life that should have continued long, long, long into the future. Carolyn's life matters. Another woman, in such horrible news today, a woman was killed, and a man is charged with murdering her. We don't have any details on her death yet, but so horrific. So please think about these women in your day-to-day. Think about these women every day. This makes 53 women this year that have been killed. And that it's just so horrific. Something that you can do, which I forgot to talk about last week, we had Gore come in a few weeks ago, and they have not a raffle. they are selling art, and all donations are going to. It takes your words talking about this because it's just so horrific. But Gore is putting on a sale of art, and all profits are going towards Sherele Moody's Femicide Watch, and that is still open and still up at the moment. So please go and look into that. You can buy beautiful art, and the money will go towards Sherele Moody, so that's such a win-win. So please go do that. I don't think that it's up for very long. The word I was looking for was art auction. I got there in the end. But go check that out, and before it goes down, I think that would be on Gore's website or on their Instagram, and that goes towards such an important cause. Sherele Moody is where we get all of our information from. She is so wonderful. She's doing such wonderful work, and this it's the most devastating thing to read about and be aware of. But without her documentation, we wouldn't know these women's names. No news is reporting on this. So yeah, it's very important work. So think of Carolyn, think of that other woman whose name is not out yet, which we will talk about next week. But yes, please look after yourself. If you need help, the DV Connect number is 0458 737 732. I just want to mention that every week. If you need support, if you need help, there's people there available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 0458 737 732. I wanted to talk about one more thing on the show today. The Freedom Flotilla. There's a bit of news, unfortunately. Well, obviously, when I look it up online, there's not a whole lot of up-to-date information. So the source that I'm using my information from is Learn Palestine on Instagram. So the validity of these sources is I'm unsure, but I can't find this news elsewhere. So, but these are quotes that I am taking from. So Israeli Foreign Minister from the Israeli Foreign Minister. So I'm sure you're all aware that a lot of the activists from the Freedom Flotilla are being held captive by the Israeli government. So this is what Israel's National Security Minister Ben Gvir said. He said, quote, "I am proud that the flotilla activists are being treated as terrorists. This is my policy. I am proud of the prison staff acting in accordance with the policy set by Commissioner Jacobi and myself. I was on their ships. I saw neither aid nor humanity," he said. And in another quote, "I visited the prison and was proud that we treated the flotilla activists as supporters of terrorism. Anyone who supports terrorism is a terrorist and deserves the same conditions applied to terrorists." In a quote from a Turkish journalist called Ersin Selik, who was on the Samud Flotilla, he said, "The Israelis tormented Greta Thunberg, dragged her on the ground and made her kiss the Israeli flag." He said that she was pulled by her hair. There's accusations that Israelis prevented them from having medicine. They only gave them water after 32 hours, barely any food, that they were woken up every 2 hours so that they couldn't get sleep. And at the end of the day, these activists went there knowing that they could be losing their lives to the Israelis because that is the regime. They are horrific. And the torment and suffering of those on the Freedom Flotilla at the hands of the Israelis is there to serve the purpose of bringing attention to Palestinians and the genocide being committed against them. That's what we should continue thinking about. That's what the media should be reporting on. That's what we need to have in our heads every single day. All eyes on Palestine, always. There is on October 12th a nationwide march for Palestine that marks 2 years of the genocide against the people of Palestine. So please show up. Queen's Gardens, Brisbane, 12th of October, nationwide march for Palestine. Show your support. That's organised by Justice for Palestine Magunjin. They are doing such great work. Show up, continue your advocacy because the genocide isn't stopping. So it's important we all stay on top of it, stay aware, talk about it with the people in your life, donate if you have the funds to do so. We are at the end of the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to Megaherzzz. See you next week. Thank you for tuning in.
Isn't that what feminism is about?